Hi, I'm Mark. Welcome back to Foothill Paint Fabrication. Well, today's the day. We're finally going to spray some DTM on the inside of Ruby. So I've already got a little head start, so let me grab the camera. I'll show you what I've got done so far and kind of some tips and tricks on what I did to get the car clean. And then we're going to mix up some DTM and get to spraying. All right, you guys can see I've got some masking here, and that's basically to keep the majority of the DTM I'll be spraying from getting on the exterior where I'll be spraying an epoxy. Now, the DTM I'm using is not a true epoxy. It says DTM right on the can, but if you saw my other video, you know that just because it says DTM doesn't mean that it's a true epoxy, so you got to be careful. So to clean this up, what I did, of course, we ground and drilled and sanded and, hammered on this thing, and there's a bunch of debris down in all the nooks and crannies. So I just took an old palm sander, this electric palm sander, some old Harbor Freight thing, and I just, vibrated the car while I was laying on its side like this. And you wouldn't believe how much just metal shaving stuff vibrated out down to the low spot right there. And then I just vacuumed it up. And I did the same thing on the interior. Down inside the window channel areas and everything else, down over there, everywhere. And then I flipped the car over and I did the same thing to the other side. And instead of trying to blow that stuff out, it's really good you need to use a vacuum cleaner, because all you do is end up blowing it somewhere else and it never really comes out. So I vacuumed the car carefully, and I've been vacuuming as I go when I'm doing repairs and stuff, because I don't want half a pound of brazing, grindings, and metal and shavings and everything stuck down in some groove somewhere that it will never come out. So I've tried to keep the car pretty clean, and we are ready to go. So I also wiped the car down with wax and grease remover, at least on this half, the upper half I can reach. So we'll flip the car over right now, and then we'll go ahead and get the rest of it cleaned up, and I'll show you a few things I did on that. All right, we're gonna go ahead and wipe this down with some wax and grease remover. Now, you guys saw I had that little pump plastic one, but what happened was the wax and grease remover kind of softened the seals and it quit working. So I got tired of buying those. So I broke down and I bought this one from Harbor Freight. It was like $45, I think, but it can handle solvents, and it's got a Schrader valve up here. You just push some air into it, I think up to 120 PSI. So it's like a little pressure vessel, and there's no pumping or anything. And it sprays out a pretty nice mist, so you get really good coverage and you don't waste your material. So I got a brand new clean cloth here, and I'm just gonna spray this down. And I like to use the spray now. I used to do the one towel with the wax and grease remover on it, and then the other towel with a clean one to wipe. But that takes forever, and I kind of feel like you just end up smearing it around more than clean. So if this was a really dirty surface, I would let the wax and grease remover soak, 5 minutes or something before it starts evaporating, and then let it what it'll do is it'll break everything loose and it'll float to the surface on the cleaner, and then you wipe that off. So this is all pretty clean, obviously been stripped, and I've cleaned it and wiped it and everything else over all these months. So we still want to make sure we get it nice and clean. So we don't want to go all this work and then skip a step and not have the stuff adhere, or possibly get some fish eyes or something like that. So I'm going to go through, and I've already cleaned the bottom half over here, so I'm going to do up all throughout here, backside of the dash, everywhere I can reach my arm. I'll get in there. Even if I can't spray it, I'll spray it on the rag and wipe it up in there and do the best I can. So let me take care of that, and I'll be right back. All right, we got that wiped down really nice all over, so we shouldn't have any issues with contaminants or anything else, but if we do, it wasn't for lack of trying. So you can see that I've got emblem holes. I got little 2-inch masking tape here to keep the DTM on that side. We don't want it getting on the skin. Probably resand the whole car once the DTM is sprayed. The tail lights are masked off, the lock set there. Everywhere that this DTM could come out, if I can prevent it, I'll do it. So we got a little bit more to do over here. The door jambs, the dash, a lot of other stuff will get epoxy. Just basically the inside of the car will get the DTM, and it's not as good as the epoxy I'm spraying on the outside. So I don't want to get any of that on the parts that's going to get epoxy. I don't mind getting epoxy on the DTM. I just don't want to get it on this stuff. So we'll probably mask along here, just a little piece of tape sticking out there to kind of reduce it from spraying out here. Make it a little easier when I do the resand on the exterior, but we are looking pretty good. So let me go ahead and get this masked up, and I'll meet you back over at the bench. I kind of modified a really expensive gun setup and a really, really old, maybe a 35-year-old paint gun. See if we can spray up inside all these nooks and crannies. So I'll meet you back over there in a minute. Okay, so here's the setup. So this is my SATA remote, 2-quart remote setup. This is a SATA Jet K3. It's very old. This was actually a demo model my buddy at the paint store sold me. I think I paid, I don't know, I think it was over $2,000 new, and I paid less than that, but I've sprayed a lot of single stage through this system because you can put 2 quarts in there. I could go around a car up and down, upside down, and just spray everything, put a good coat on, let it set, reload the pot, and put the second coat on, and just basically be done. So I've sprayed a lot of material through this gun, but I don't think we're going to be using it. We may try to use it on some areas we can reach easily. But to get into the hard to reach areas, what I did was I took this old Astro touch-up gun. It usually looks like this little tiny cup is on there. And I put some fittings on here, and I adapted so I could put the fluid line from the remote onto the base here and put the air line up on here. I put some solvent in it yesterday and tested it out, and it sprays. How good it sprays, I have no idea, especially with this thick DTM. But, this way I can get my hand up in here just like this. Wherever I can reach my arm, that's where I can get this into spray. So I'm probably going to put some sag, some runs, some drips. I don't care. We're just going to spray tons of this DTM up inside there, all over wherever I can reach, wherever I can point this thing, that's where I'm going to spray it. So it's going to be a mess. But, this is the best I can do, and this setup should help me quite a bit. Now, this is a tiny touch-up gun. This stuff is thick, so what we're probably going to do, you can reduce this down up to 25% to turn it into kind of like a sealer. So that's what we'll do. We'll probably reduce it down, 15%. I'm just going to eyeball it with some acetone, and then we'll just start spraying. So let me go ahead and get some DTM mixed up. Like I said, this is not a true epoxy. It says DTM on it. I did a whole video on, these things that say DTM. They're not really direct to metal. So, but it's less expensive. I didn't want to spend the kind of money for the epoxy. I already have this, so we're going to use it up and put multiple coats up inside there and do the best we can. So let me get some mixed up, and then time to put the Tyvek suit on, get the respirator on, and climb in there and get dirty. All right, guys, we're about ready to spray. Fully suited up because I'm sure I'm going to get tons of blowback on me. I even have some safety glasses there. This is probably the most PPE you'll ever see me wear ever. I even got the hood. So I know I look ridiculous, but I don't want that stuff all over, inside my face and everything. So let's try to get some of the nooks and crannies here. I've got a double batch mixed up for the remote, so we should have plenty to spray. Hopefully my gun kind of concoction over there works well, and we can get up inside here really well. We'll just keep rotating the car to get it in the right position so we can spray fairly easily. Okay, here we go. Okay, I'm running out, so that was a double patch just for that. I had the gun turned up too high. I didn't think the little gun could do so good, but it's going fantastic. Let me mix with another batch, and we'll get right back at it. All right, guys, it's looking pretty good. Sprayed quite a bit of material. I had it way too heavy at first. I had no idea that gun would put that material out that heavy. So I've dialed it back and we're getting some nice even coats. I'm on my third batch. I think I have enough for about a half another batch. So, and we're gonna spray everything I have. So I'm gonna finish this up area right here, put the cameras away, they're getting destroyed, and just finish this up and I'll bring you back when I'm done. All right, all done. Gun's clean. That's one thing about that remote system. It eats up a lot of solvent to clear out that hose, but I kind of recycle some of it through it 2 or 3 times before I put the fresh stuff in. So we're looking pretty good. We got some, overspray dust over here and there. You can see where I wiped it maybe over there. So, and that's to be expected. I was spraying, kind of high pressure and really getting with it. So, you're spraying 2 or 3 spots and it just floats over and settles on something else, especially on the interior. But it looks really good. I'm really happy. There's a few spots down inside there I couldn't reach. I did save some out of the gallon over there, so I could probably mix up maybe a couple of cups of catalyzed material, so I can take a brush and just brush it down inside these areas here. I just, you just can't spray it down in there. It doesn't want to go. So I think I'll just kind of spray it down or brush it down inside all those little nooks and crannies. It doesn't matter. I'm more concerned about sealing stuff off, not aesthetics. So, but I think it came out really good, and pretty happy to get that part done. Definitely this DTM is not the quality of the epoxy. I'll tell you that right up front. I consider just getting more epoxy, and just spending the money, but I had this stuff. It's for the interior, and I know I'm gonna go ahead and spray this with top coat. So it's gonna get red or black on the interior anyways. So I'm not super concerned about this DTM holding up, because it will get top coat on it. So it'll just be single stage. I'm pretty happy I was able to get behind that dash pretty good. I did eat a lot of paint when I was doing it, but that Tyvek suit actually came in pretty handy. So I'm pretty happy the way it came out. I'm glad to get this over with. I'm gonna let this stuff set up, and I think I'm gonna go have a beer. Okay guys, that pretty much wraps up this video on getting DTM sprayed on Ruby's interior, and I'm really happy to get this done. I have no idea what this video is gonna look like. I have no idea what kind of footage I got. I do know that GoPro has a lot of DTM sprayed on it, so we're gonna see how well this comes out. But I'll post what I can, and hopefully it looks good. But we got everything sprayed. The next step really is just to clean up the exterior, anywhere DTM floated on. I'm gonna go over the whole car again, probably with the Scotch-Brite pad and some DA here, the DA here and there. That was kind of cheap tape I used, so it left some stickiness here and there. We'll go through with the wax and grease remover and remove all that. And then we're gonna get Ruby ready for some epoxy. I'm really excited to get Ruby sealed inside and out, but we're moving along, finally. Thanks for joining me here at Foothill Paint Fabrication. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't already. Mash that bell and drop me a comment. I'd love to hear from you. We'll see you on the next one.